Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Tevaron here, and welcome to another episode of Friday Night Magic. This week we are going to be revisiting a deck that I did an episode on previous to the release of Battle for Zendikar. This is a mono-white deck with auras to buff creatures and for board control. I have changed it a bit, incorporated a few of the cards from Battle for Zendikar. Honestly, not many. One card that would have been great in the deck had they put it into the Magic Duels client on here would have been Stasis Snare, but we did not get that card. There are a couple of Battle for Zendikar cards in here, but you will see that as we go through the deck list. We are playing one Kytheon, Hero of Akros. The Planeswalker side of him is honestly not super relevant in this deck. He is rarely flipped. He's just another one drop that has 2 power and 1 toughness. Though if you do get him flipped, his Planeswalker side is fairly okay. It's not as good as the Gideon that is in Battle for Zendikar, which is also in here. We are playing 3 Elite Vanguard, which rounds out our 1 drops with 2 power and 1 toughness there. We're playing 2 Knight of the White Orchid to smooth our mana draws. If an opponent has more lands than you, when you play Knight of the White Orchid, when it comes into play, then you can search for a plains and put it on the battlefield. It's not tapped when you put it out there. You can actually use it, which, if your opponent goes first, can allow you to leapfrog them in mana. We are also playing 3 Consuls Lieutenant, which is a 2 mana first striker with Renown. The ability that it pumps other creatures if they're attacking with it when it's renowned is also quite good. We're playing 4 Topan Freeblade, which is a vigilance creature with Renown. We're playing 1 Grasp of the Hieromancer. I only use 1 in here because I myself prefer Nimbus Wings, though Grasp of the Hieromancer is good as well. There's only 1 also because we do have search effects. We're playing 3 Nimbus Wings, 3 Blessed Spirits to synergize with our enchantments and auras. We are playing 3 Skyhunter Skirmishers because double strike and flying is pretty sweet. 4 Heliod's Pilgrim, which will let us find whatever our most relevant aura is at the moment and put it into our hand. 1 Archangel of Tithes. This gal has been an all-star both in the previous time that I played this deck and since I've been playing it here recently. I was honestly really surprised at how well the deck still seems to hold up in the current meta. Playing 2 Kytheon's Irregulars for just the body, Renowned, and the tap target creature is quite excellent as well. 2 Supression Bonds for a bit of board control. You can enchant any permanent that isn't a land, not just creatures. You can shut down planeswalkers, artifacts, even enchantments with this card. And it is an aura, so it's searchable with Heliod's Pilgrim. We are playing 1 Gideon, ally of Zendikar, who is the better version of Gideon and is quite good in this deck. We're playing 1 Knightly Valor. We're playing 1 Knightly Valor, if I could English correctly for a minute, which is the top end of our enchantment aura suite. 2 Tragic Arrogance, which may seem strange, but honestly, Tragic Arrogance in this deck does exactly what you want it to. If you end up against a deck that just floods the board and you can't get through, this will stabilize everything. It's kind of a 5 mana balance per se. Our mana base has changed a bit. If you had seen the last episode, you may remember that we were only running 22 lands at the time. I have upped the count to 24. We're playing 19 plains, 3 Foundry of the Consuls, and 2 Sandstone Bridge, which is the second Battle for Zendikar card that I ended up adding to the deck. This is not always relevant, though when it is, it's nice to get the extra +1/+1 in Vigilance. If you get this in your opening hand, you probably just want to go ahead and play it to get it out of the way if you don't have one of your 1-drops. But that's the deck list. I will also put a much more easy to reference list in the description below, but for now, let's get in there and sling some cards. This is an unkeepable hand, so let's throw that sucker back and see what else we can get. This is quite a bit better. We'll keep this. We are on the play, so we get to start off aggressive. Depending on what our opponent is playing, we may be able to get in a significant amount of damage before they can even get a presence on the board. Island kind of supports that theory there. I want to get the Consul's Lieutenant Renowned first. I'm going to go ahead and attack with the Elite Vanguard here. Not really much you can do with one island with the cards available in this iteration of duels, but go ahead and play the Consul's Lieutenant. And we want it to get renowned more than we want the Freeblade to get renowned, especially against a blue deck, because when it attacks, if it's renowned, it pumps your other attacking creatures +1/+1 until end of turn. Perilous Mirror is a bit of an issue. Looks like we may be playing against Thopters here. As such, I am going to play Topan Freeblade. I'm not going to worry about trying to get the land off of the knight at the moment, and I'm certainly not going to attack. Next turn, if there is not a better target, we can Supression Bonds this Perilous Mirror and then get in there. Guardians of Miletus. Well, maybe this is not a Thopter deck. Maybe it's just a red-blue, or is it, if you prefer that term, controlling sort of deck. Skyhunter Skirmisher is nice to see. Let's go ahead and Suppression Bonds this Perilous Mirror, so we don't have to worry about him killing a couple of our creatures there. We'll attack with all of these. I suspect this guy, the Consul's Lieutenant, will be blocked. He's the most bothersome when he's renowned. Yep, my opponent feels the same way. We did not get quite as fast a start as I would have liked, but I'm still fairly happy with the position that we have at the moment. Hopefully our opponent does not untap and have Twin Bolt. That would be bad for us as well. Our small creatures, or white weenies, if you were to use an older term, are a little vulnerable to burn. Okay, so Topan Freeblade is getting burned out. Alright. Okay, we'll go ahead and attack here, get 2 damage through, because our lieutenant is definitely going to be blocked. Then I will play our Skyhunter Skirmisher. I'm going to hold the knight back. That's not always the correct play, and it may not even be the correct play this time, but I really would like to get an extra land out of this guy if our opponent will cooperate and play another land for us on their turn. That will make it a little less likely that we'll continue to draw land throughout the rest of the game. Also hedges us from any sort of board wipe they may be running. Alright. Well, Whirler Rogue just spewed forth some tokens. And those can take out our Skyhunter Skirmisher as it stands right now. With a double block, it will kill both of those as well, though. Whirler Rogue can block probably our Elite Vanguard. Our opponent did play a land. I think that the thing to do... Still 3 cards in hand. Yeah, I think we really just got to keep the pressure on. I would have really liked to have drawn an aura here to beef up our Skyhunter, but that was not what happened. So let's attack. Maybe this is just a bit more controlling build of Thopters. Okay, I was wondering if our opponent was just going to elect not to kill the Skirmisher, but they are indeed killing it. And these guys will trade. Then we will drop our Knight and trigger its search ability. Yes, I would. Grab a Plains, put it into play. I'm going to keep this Plains in my hand just as a sort of bluff that I have something else. And go ahead and pass. Not something that I need. I have enough mana at present, so it's a little bit more useful in my hand than it is on the board. What are we getting? Claustrophobia. The Knight? Okay. I actually would have expected the guy that can become renowned to be claustrophobiaed. I guess he is. Never mind then. Well, we need something to break this stalemate, and that is something. Flyers are nice. Evasion of any kind is nice, with flying generally being one of the better versions of evasion. Pass over to our opponent and see what they can muster here. Another Whirler Rogue. And now I would really like to draw an aura or a Heliod's Pilgrim to search for an aura. That way we can buff our Blessed Spirits. And that will do. Indeed. We will Grasp of the Hieromancer on our Consul's Lieutenant. That buffs our Blessed Spirits. Then we will attack. Attack with all, confirm, and Grasp will tap down the Guardians, which means he has to block with something that will die if he wants to block my Consul's Lieutenant. And he does not. He or she does not. I do apologize there. And now we have a renowned Consul's Lieutenant, which is much more effective than an unrenowned Consul's Lieutenant. And as it stands, our opponent is going to have to mitigate some damage, or they're going to die next turn. They can either remove something, tap something down. A Guardians of Meletus is a good form of damage mitigation here. I can't tap both of those 0/6 walls. Otherwise, they would have been getting abyssed and having to chump block every turn. Kytheon's Irregulars is a really good draw. That puts our opponent back in the Abyss stage of the game. So we will activate this pre-combat and tap down a Guardians of Meletus. Do hope I'm pronouncing that right. Meletus. We will attack with all, confirm, and tap down this Guardian. Opponent is thinking about responding with something, it seems. Don't know what exactly they are considering. Conceding, apparently. That may have been a bit premature. Not completely dead as of yet. Though I do admit it does look a little dire on their side of the board. Maybe they just know there is nothing they can draw in their deck that will get them out of this situation. Okay. Well, that is a couple of blockers there. However, I'm going to be able to tap down 3 creatures. So we will tap... Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We will tap. And tap. And tap. And then we will swing out. Attack with all, please. Tap this guy down. And yeah, that is the game. With the buff from our Consul there, no matter where they block, there is going to be at minimum 8 points of damage getting through. I will see you guys in the next one. This hand is really land heavy. Let's see if we can do a bit better. I would call that better. Our opponent gets to go first, so that makes our Knight of the White Orchid better as well. We have Sandstone Bridge in our opening hand, and unless we top deck a 1-drop, we're going to go ahead and just play the Sandstone Bridge. We may have some troubles here against mono red. They can get off to some quick starts, and sometimes they're just too aggressive to slow down and get the game in a favorable position. Okay, Majoring Bully. That's maybe a bit better than seeing a Dragon Fodder turn 2 with the Foundry Street Denizen there. May not be able to take the time to try and trigger my knight. I think I'm going to need to go ahead and play him out. The first strike blocker is more important at this juncture, I think. If I had had another 2-drop, that would have been a different case. Then we would have played the other 2-drop. But I cannot afford to just keep taking this damage. Well, it did draw a Fiery Impulse out. So we're going to be taking at least 4 here. If they play something else, we'll be taking more. Okay, so just 4, which will put us to 14. Is that all, my friend? Okay. So we will probably be playing the Heliod's Pilgrim here. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to be doing. That can block the Foundry Street Denizen if it lives to do so. Yes, I would. And I think we probably want to just go ahead and get a Nimbus Wings. Something that's easy to cast, instead of trying to go for Suppression Bonds. In the original build of this deck, I did have 1 Divine Favor, which would gain 3 life. Might have been a mistake to cut it, though it never was super impactful before. they're not going to be able to play that exquisite firecraft that they uncovered with Abbot of Carol Keep. Infernal Fist is another story. So we're going to be hit for 5 here, because I'm going to block the Foundry Street Denizen and kill it. And we really need one of our other 2-power first strikers, and we did not get one. Okay. Well then, about the only thing we can do is play Skyhunter and Kytheon. Oops, no, play Kytheon please, thank you. And now we do have blockers here. Potentially a blocker that can block and live with Skyhunter Skirmisher, though I'm not going to count on that because the Abbot of Carol Keep does have prowess. If they're holding a Titan Strength, then it would keep it alive. I'm going to try to trade Kytheon off for this Majoring Bully. Sacrifice the Infernal Fist to kill my Skirmisher. Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that. My life total is precarious at 9. Avaricious Dragon is bad as well for us, very bad. That guy is a beating. Well, we can, at the very least, get something that can block it. And I suppose we'll go with Nimbus Wings for the biggest body we can muster here. Barring Burn can block that dragon and live, though with our opponent drawing 2 cards a turn, that's maybe wishful thinking. Well, one of the 2 cards was a mountain. Kind of feel like there's no way that that dragon would be attacking if it couldn't go ahead and kill our Blessed Spirits. But I don't want to be taking 4 damage either. Not to mention leaving it alive to draw more cards. So we will attempt to deal with that. And yeah, we just got blown out. So that's bad. However, if we had blocked the Abbot, we would be down to 2. Either that, or the dragon would be doing 4, and then the Abbot would have killed our Blessed Spirits in any case. I will go ahead and play this out, but it's not looking at all good for us here. It would take a miracle to pull this game out. And that is the ball game, boys and girls. Okay, I mean, that's some extra damage there. No doubt. Go ahead and kill the Abbot out of spot, I suppose. And see if we can't do better in the next one. This is a pretty good hand. I will definitely be holding on to it. Would have loved to have had a Knight of the White Orchid, seeing as how we are on the draw, but I'm not going to complain at all about what I've been given here. Though I would like to draw another land over the next couple of turns. What sort of thing are we playing here? Rakdos, perhaps? Okay. Don't see this guy being played much. Flying for strike haste. Okay, you got me. Well, let's swing on in there. Play our Consul's lieutenant out here. Pass on back, see what our opponent can muster. Well, our opponent decides not to swing at this time. Wants to trade that bat for our lieutenant, I would imagine. However, we are going to try and make that not possible with a Grasp of the Hieromancer. Could get 2 for 1 here with a removal. We didn't at that point though. Attack with all. Tap this guy down. Thank you. Well, our lieutenant is renowned. Our Vanguard is even more elite than he was previously. And we are still in need of some more land drops. Our opponent is not having any issues in that regard though. Still okay, coming in this time. No use leaving back to block if you can't get rid of that Grasp of the Hieromancer, or Hieromancer. Not actually completely sure how that's pronounced. Blazing? Not trying to be insulting, but what rank are you, my friend? 26. Okay, we got pared down quite far there, but that's fine. I was just wondering about that because you really don't see these cards being played much. Let's go ahead and attack. Attack with all. And what is your ability again? Sacrifice a creature to do a damage. Alright, I guess I'll go ahead and tap that down and not let you trade with my Vanguard here. Although we can sack a creature to kill my Consul's lieutenant if I play it out there. I'm going to go ahead and do that though. If our opponent wants to sack a creature to kill this, then that's one less creature that can interfere with our attacks. Act of Treason. Okay, so that's going to be 7, 8, 9, 10 damage coming my way. Leaving this guy back. I guess you can sack my guy to kill this guy. So that's not good for me. And I am... If you're going to sack my guy, there's no reason for me not to block. So I will block. So this is a version of Rakdos still in sack, it seems. I have not seen any versions of that deck being played since the Battle for Zendikar set released. Okay. Let's attack. We will tap down the Arsonist. And if they want to sacrifice this Hellhound here to prevent 3 damage, they are welcome to do so. And our opponent is willing to do just that. Let's go ahead and play our Blessed Spirits. Right, there's another sack outlet for our opponent. Bloodflow Connoisseur. declines to attack again. Okay. I guess I shall swing and see what transpires here. Question is, regardless of what happens, do I play the Skirmisher or the Heliod's Pilgrim? There's arguments to be made for both. Okay. I suppose the Heliod's Pilgrim is the better play. We will go and get an enchantment. Yes, please. And it will be Nimbus Wings because I'm still shy of my 4th mana. And as it stands, I have 3 cards I cannot play in my hand. That's the guy that can take a creature power 2 or less? Yes. So, Spirits is getting sacked. Alright. It looks like I'm going to be taking 5 here because I'm not blocking. Our opponent really wants to hang on to that Goblin Arsonist for some reason. If they swung with it and I blocked it, then they would kill my Pilgrim. Okay, finally. That is a good draw. Opponent is showing 7 damage at the moment. I do think that the correct play... I mean, it's either Skirmisher or Nimbus Wings. I don't think Supression Bonds is a very good play. Maybe it is, though. Suppression Bond, the Blood Flow Connoisseur. Then they would have 4 damage on board. But seeing as how they're not attacking with the Arsonist, it's only going to be 3. Okay. I talked myself into it. That will at least prevent them from stealing my stuff and sacrificing it too. Alright, skip attack please. I can't get through that. And perhaps I will get lucky enough to draw yet another land in the subsequent turn. So now you're willing to attack with the Arsonist. I think I'll take it. Another Arsonist. Okay. And a Perilous Mirror. So if they have a way to sacrifice the Perilous Mirror, we are potentially dead next turn. I probably want to Tragic Arrogance here. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. There's no use to swing in, I don't think. Enchantment, that one. Choose a creature, this one, and this one. And we will... We will attack. Alright, happy to see my opponent continuing to draw land, it seems. And here, I think we just go ahead and play Knightly Valor. Get in there for 3. Next turn we can Nimbus Wings our Pilgrim and swing for the win if we don't die here. If our opponent attacks with the mirror, I will block it with our Knight token. I really don't want to go to 4 and put myself in exquisite firecraft range if I can help it. Act of treason. Okay. So now I can't block. Or I have to block the Pilgrim if I decide to block. If our opponent has burn that can hit my face, like Twin Bolt or Touch of the Void, and I don't block that Pilgrim, I'm dead. If what they have is Fiery Impulse, and I block the Pilgrim, then my board is gone. I'm going to take the chance and block. Yep, Bloodflow Connoisseur, and my board is gone in any case. Guess I was a bit too concerned with burn there. Archangel of Tithes is okay. Especially with my opponent having an empty hand. Gotta try not to feel too bad about misreads like that. You try to cover all the angles you can and think it through, but you can't cover every contingency. Though honestly, my opponent hasn't played any burn at all, so maybe that should have been an indication that I shouldn't even be worrying about burn. Well, if my opponent top decked another Act of Treason type effect, the Act of Treason or Traitorous Instinct, then I'm dead. Apparently that's not the case though, because they still seem to be in the tank thinking about this. Swinging with just the Connoisseur. Seems very strange. I'm gonna block it. Okay. So we're trading off here. Gotcha. I'm satisfied to do that, I suppose. Couldn't let that Connoisseur go through, because if I do, they sack the mirror there and I just die. Guess we play out our creatures. See if one of them lives until next turn. Either one is potentially lethal for our opponent. Okay. And this time, I'm not going to block. If our opponent has Twin Bolt in their hand, then I'm dead. Because if I trade these guys off, then I just have nothing to get there with. Right, I will attempt to Nimbus Wings my Freeblade. Give it evasion here. And maybe we can get this game. Well, that was a real nail biter. Let's go ahead and do one more. Okay, our opponent is on the play. We do have Knight, but we lack a second white to be able to cast it. We have Vanguard. Yeah, I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to mulligan this. This is much better. Thank you. Looks like our opponent went down to 6 cards. Leads off with a Demure Guildgate. We will lead off with an Elite Vanguard. Okay, please continue to play lands, friend. I would love to get an extra planes off of my Knight here. Let's go ahead and swing. We may see the creature we attempt to play here get horribly awried. We will try a Lieutenant. And he resolves, so that's good. I think it's a he. Can't really tell. The Lieutenant resolves. And our opponent is gone. So let's trounce the AI, shall we? Go ahead and get in there. Please do not counter my Knight of the White Orchid AI. Thank you very much. Yes, I will gladly take another planes. Then play that one, and I'm not going to drop another creature. I've got enough pressure on the board as it is. I do not want to get everything that I've got languished. Well, let's go ahead and see what happens when we attack. Taking our opponent to 5. And I will go ahead and play a Heliod's Pilgrim. Don't mind getting it killed if our opponent wipes the board. This will fetch us up an enchantment that hopefully is relevant. Nimbus Wings, please. Keep this Elite Vanguard in my hand. And it appears that our opponent just had nothing, which is why they conceded. Well, I am sorry, that was not much of a game. So, let's do yet one more. I don't think I can keep this. Just too much high-end stuff here. That's a bit better. Alright, so we're on the play, so Kytheon, do your stuff. and red variants everywhere it seems tonight. Alright, go ahead and drop a second land and let our opponent have at it. Alright, so not mono red here. Okay, let's play our Blessed Spirits. Don't really want to Nimbus Wings them as they can already fly. We can just cast our Archangel of Tithes next turn. So it looks like we're playing against Gruul Ramp. I think it really helped them this game that they had the impulse for our Kytheon, or they would have been taking a lot more damage. Well, our opponent's tapped out. No reason to wait to play this Archangel. They can't really respond with anything anyway. Saves us just a little bit of time. And unfortunately, the first damage we did to our opponent was on turn 4. May still be okay. What have you got for me? Acid Moss, huh? Okay. Don't really know why you'd go for a Plains there instead of the Foundry. It's not like I can play a second Archangel of Tithes here. Alrighty, well, let's play our Sandstone Bridge. Give our Archangel Vigilance and +1/+1. And attack. Post combat, we will drop our Topan Freeblade. Opponent is up to 7 mana here. Despite getting off to a slow start, it's to the point now that our opponent really does need to start dealing with some of our threats here, or they're not going to last much longer. Rolling Thunder is a good answer. Guess they're killing our Archangel. Would love to have kept her around. At least we do have the Nimbus Wings in our hand to allow us to swing for 6 this turn. We will go ahead and play our land as well. Wings up our Freeblade. Humping our Spirits and swinging for 6. And putting our opponent in an even more precarious position. And our opponent says that's enough. Okay, hello guys, Revenge. I don't think you can get the job done here. Yeah, no blocking, no blocking. Well, that will be it for this episode of Friday Night Magic, friends. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like below. It really does help the channel. Consider subscribing to be notified when I upload new content. And until next time, be excellent to each other.